Good morning, everyone, and welcome to 6 a.m., session 2 of our gut health series. And as promised, this morning we are going to talk all things liver. So I've got my handy dandy book here, and I'll just kind of be reading some various things out of it because I don't have all this memorized, let me tell you. Anyway, so why is liver health so important? So glad you're asked. Well, as I'm sure you're aware, the liver is a very large organ because it does a lot of things. Some of the things it's responsible for is filtering and processing all food, nutrients, alcohol, drugs, and other materials that enter the bloodstream and letting them pass, breaking them down, or storing them. So, if you are familiar with medication at all, as you take doses, your body reaches something called steady state. And what this is of course, your liver is busy breaking down these drugs that we're putting in our bodies. So you have to keep taking them in order to keep a certain amount in your bloodstream. So when you reach steady state, it's what's happening is you're ingesting the same amount that your liver is excreting. And so there's that constant amount in your bloodstream. That is a steady state of medication. Can you tell I have a little bit of a medical background? Anyway, so the liver is constantly filtering things out, which is good. That's what it's designed to do. It is also responsible for manufacturing bile needed to emulsify fats for digestion. The gallbladder also helps with that, but the liver does as well. They both do. The liver is actually responsible for making and breaking down many hormones. So if you're experiencing hormone imbalances, it could be at least partially liver related, which most people don't think about. Some of the hormones it makes and breaks down includes cholesterol, testosterone, and even estrogens. So a lot of important hormones there that our liver helps take care of. The liver is also responsible for regulating blood sugar levels, which again, most of us don't think about because when we think of blood sugar, we think of the pancreas and insulin. We don't necessarily think of the liver, but it's all, connected. And the liver has a lot of responsibilities. Remember, it's a big organ because it has a big job to play. Just some general facts about the liver. About 1/4 of your total blood volume passes through your liver every minute. That's crazy. So 1/4 of your blood supply is passing through your liver every single minute. That's nuts. Of course, it's the largest organ in the body, and it's absolutely essential for life. It does produce bile, as I mentioned before, to help absorb fats and fat-soluble vitamins, right? Because not every vitamin we take is water-soluble. Some of them are stored in fat, and so to get at them, you have to have that bile. It removes or neutralizes poisons from the blood. It removes germs and bacteria from the blood. It makes proteins that regulate blood clotting. So that, again, is another very important function of the liver. Because trust me, if you get a cut, you want to start clotting because that means you stop bleeding. And there are lots of things that can put stress on our livers. Things like blocked bile ducts. So, when those get damaged or blocked up, you can have something called biliary cirrhosis. That's not good. Chronic hepatitis, of course. We all know hepatitis is a liver disease. Diabetes, of course, protein malnutrition, obesity, and corticosteroid use can all put stress on the liver and contribute to non-alcoholic steatohep. Anyway, NASH is what NASH results in deadly fat buildup and eventual cirrhosis of the liver. Exposure to chemicals and parasites. Chemicals, that includes medication. Chronic medication is very, very stressful on your liver. Not just alcohol, but any kind of chemical. We're exposed to chemicals all the time, y'all. Inherited diseases can affect the liver, put stress on the liver. Iron overload. Excess iron is not a good thing. Some other things that can put stress on the liver, of course, poor diet. It all comes back to nutrition. Coffee and colas. All right, I'm totally guilty of this one. I haven't given up the coffee. Well, I have for like the last week, but I still enjoy a cup of coffee. Now, I did give up colas or Cokes a long time ago, just because I've been drinking so much water. I can't stand the sugariness of Coke anymore. Just, ugh. But caffeine can do some harsh things in our body. And of course, the more caffeine you ingest, the more stress you're putting on your liver. Of course, viruses put tons of stress on the liver. All right. So what are some signs of an overloaded or toxic liver? This is what I really wanted to talk about this morning. Here are some signs. You may notice some in yourself. You may notice none. You may notice all of them. I don't know. I'm just reading the list. So some clues that your liver might be in trouble: overweight, inability to lose weight, weight loss, loss of appetite, abdominal bloating after eating, excessive gas, poor and inadequate digestion, nausea, bad breath, coated tongue when going without food for half or a full day, sluggish metabolism, high cholesterol, sugar cravings, excessive alcohol intake, sensitivity to medication because of the liver's inability to remove drugs from the blood at the usual rate. Drugs act longer than expected. Irritable bowel syndrome, frequent or continued fatigue, weakness, frequent headaches or migraines, mood and behavior swings, unpleasant moods, forgetfulness, poor concentration, or disturbed sleep, lowered immunity. A liver not able to work at the optimum level will result in immune system dysfunction, which leads to infection and many other problems. Y'all, our immune system are intimately connected to our gut health. I forget like the percentage, but it's really high. If your gut is out of whack, your immune system is not going to work properly. Overburdened immune system, recurring colds, fevers, and mucus, excessive body heat, gallbladder problems, gallstones, fatty liver, allergies, high blood pressure, hormonal imbalance, rashes, chemical intolerance, bruising and bleeding. This is caused when the liver is unable to produce those clotting proteins we were talking about. Portal hypertension. When the flow of blood through the portal vein is slowed, pressure increases inside. Distended veins. When the blood from the intestines and spleen backs up into blood vessels in the stomach and esophagus, the varices swell and are more likely to burst. Ooh, that doesn't sound good. Jaundice. And jaundice is when your skin turns yellow. You can even see it on the whites of the eyes. I had a cat that was badly jaundiced. The liver's inability to cleanse the blood may result in yellowing of the skin and eyes. Itching. Intense itching may be a result of bile waste residue deposited in the skin. So if your body's not eliminating that bile the way it needs to, it can deposit in the skin. Oily skin blemishes, edema, and ascites. It says excessive fluid in the abdomen between the lining and the abdominal organs is caused when the liver stops making the protein albumin, holding water in the leg, edema, and abdomen, ascites, often referred to as fluid retention. So, the reason I wanted to read that list was actually because of my mom. So we were talking one day, and I had been trying to get her to be a little more serious about her liver health because I knew that she needed to. And one day she called me up and she's like, Jess, I think my liver is toxic. I'm like, oh, really? She's like, yeah, I'm reading this list and I've got almost every one of these symptoms. I'm like, uh-huh. I mean, I knew. Chronic medication, and then some of the other things she's been fighting for years and years and years. I'm like, I know. But she finally got to the point where she knew the doctors and everything they had been doing hadn't been fixing the problem. So she was finally ready to do something different. So she's looking into some cleanses and things that she can do to help support her liver and lower its burden and reduce its toxicity. So that is awesome. I'm so excited for her for that. But it made me think how many of us are running around with all of or some of these symptoms and a toxic liver and don't even know what we've got or how to help it. So that was kind of my inspiration behind starting this series. And as we go forward, I'll continue to talk about, okay, so what do you do if your liver's toxic? And maybe talk about some cleanses and some of the other information I can find in my book to share with you guys about gut health, because our gut health it's huge. It's a huge part of our overall health. And it's probably the root of a lot of the issues that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and end this here, and I will see you on Tuesday. Later.